I'm Matt Vanacora from Ask.Audio, and I am lucky enough today to have my hands on an Apogee Symphony I/O Mark II. The Symphony I/O Mark II is a Thunderbolt connected audio interface, and with it comes the legendary Apogee converters, ADDA, a lot of headroom, low noise floor, all that great stuff that we know about. I'd actually like to just kind of jump into some of the finer points of what sets this particular model apart and some of the stuff that I was pleasantly surprised about when I was testing it in this time that I had it. So the standout feature for me is the extremely low latency. They advertise it at 1.3 milliseconds at 96K, but really fundamentally what that's sort of translating to us is that you can indeed use this interface and monitor in your DAW. And it's funny because that's been a feature that's been around for a while, but it's not been a pleasure to use for many audio interfaces. Monitoring through the DAW really induces a lot of latency. But in this case, the Apogee handles it so well that I found monitoring through the DAW a reality. So whether it's Pro Tools or Logic, you want to just monitor your input without having to worry about going to an external program to set up a mix for everyone. It was really convenient and more than possible. So Apogee really scored in that case. You can connect this to Pro Tools HD with an option card, so you don't need to go through any kind of third-party converting process. This will connect directly to your Pro Tools HD system if you want to, and sort of replace your external interface with the Apogee, which is kind of nice. There's an extremely low CPU overhead, which is great because, again, with the monitoring in the DAW, you're going to want to be running all these plugins and testing it out and kind of pushing it to the limit. So it's good to know that this does not utilize a lot of CPU. I didn't notice that much of an appreciable difference when I turned it on, turned it off, or started using it with Activity Monitor. The other thing that I really like is the ability to configure the I/O yourself. So you can have multiple configurations that are selectable via different cards that you can expand this interface with. So you can have 8 mic pre's, you can have just plain old converters. If you have your own mic pre's you want to plug into it, you can get 8-out optical, SPDIF. The possibilities are endless, but it's just great because I know in so many interfaces I might have a couple of spots that I feel like, well, that was a little bit of a waste of money. I'm never using that section of it, so I wish I could have put something else there. Well, with the Symphony I/O, you definitely can. You can configure it to work however you need it to. The front panel touchscreen is really nice. At first I thought it might be a little gimmicky, but you can get to some real information and change some stuff on there. As they have with their past touchscreens, Apogee has done a great job. It's very high resolution. It looks beautiful, so it kind of just begs you to touch it. So I definitely dig. I found myself reaching for that rather than opening up the software quite often. And finally, a nice little bonus for those of you that are in the Apple ecosystem and use Logic Pro 10, you have direct control over quite a few hardware parameters with this interface. So if you get the 8 mic pre option, you can actually control the input level of the mic pre's. You can do all sorts of stuff right in Logic without having to open up software or having to touch the front panel of the device. So it works really well. It's sort of like a nice little hidden gem in there, and that's part of the cool relationship that Apogee has with Apple, that they've been able to do that. They've done that with a couple of their interfaces over the years, and it's worked out quite well. So the Apogee Thunderbolt Symphony I/O definitely gets the Ask Audio stamp of approval, a really great interface right at the top of its class.